The Houston Texans offseason is still it's still not done for the Houston Texans. We still have to worry about what the hell is going to happen with Deshaun Watson. And I do think there are two teams out there who still have enough draft picks or players that could potentially make the push for Deshaun Watson. But before I get into the video, don't forget, guys, when I get to 4,000 subs, I will be giving away one of these Houston Texans. I think one of the most rarest memorabilia, only 1,000 of these made. Andre Johnson, John Weeks, J.J. Watt, Case Keenum, Matt Shop signatures on the piece. But like I said, guys, if you want to be part of that, feel free. Just answer the question, right? Where do you want to send Deshaun Watson, and what are you going to ask from that team? I think there are two options for the Houston Texans. I think number one is still the Miami Dolphins. They still have multiple firsts, multiple seconds, some thirds, and they still have players out there, right? They have Xavier Howard, a corner who a lot of Houston Texan fans have been wanting for multiple years now. The guy is a Pro Bowler. He can be an All Pro. He's gonna immediately make your defensive better. They have Christian Wilkins, a defensive tackle who is dynamic in the run game, who the Houston Texans could definitely use. I would love if the Houston Texans put Shaq Lawson on the D line as well as Christian Wilkins. That would absolutely make me feel better about the defense. They then also just drafted Jalen Phillips, right? The edge guy who a lot of people are crazy high on. Cody Johnson. You guys know how much he loves him. That's what you need to get from the Miami Dolphins. Multiple picks. You got to try to rebuild our defense, right? We didn't really address in the draft. We took a quarterback, wide receiver, tight end. There are still holes on the defense. If you get any of those three players, I'm absolutely ecstatic, right? I mean, do you want to go ahead and ask for Water too? I don't think that's gonna happen. But hey, I would love to try to even bring in one of the guys that I've been most hyped about. Jalen Waddle, but I think if it's either Xavier Howard, Christian Wilkins, Jalen Phillips, multiple first rounds, multiple seconds, maybe a couple thirds. I don't know how you don't do that. I'm excited for that. Another team um that can make a push for Deshaun Watson, and I haven't really talked about him, is the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles have acquired almost three first round picks for next year, multiple seconds, multiple thirds. Now, if you want to get a player, they don't really, nothing about that roster excites me, right? The only thing that excites me is the new players, right? They did just get Devontae Smith. Do you ask for the first round picks as well as Devontae Smith, and do they give that to you, or do you ask for Landon Dickinson, the offensive tackle they took in the second round? But here's another thing that should be talked about if you trade him to the Philadelphia Eagles. The picks that you get in return are gonna have more value than what the Miami's picks are gonna give you. And here's what I mean by that. If you Miami is a quarterback away. If you give Deshaun Watson to Miami, that's gonna be a team that's gonna make the playoffs. That's gonna be a team that's gonna compete and maybe might even win a Super Bowl with Deshaun Watson. That's how good he is. And the first round picks you get from that Deshaun led Miami Dolphins might not be that good, right? You might get to late first rounds. Whereas if you maybe send them to the Eagles, right? The Eagles still have more holes than they have. They do have Devontae Smith, they do have Jalen Hurts, they do have Jalen Rager, right? Those, I don't really see any defensive type of starters that you could get there that are worth getting in return for Mr. Deshaun Watson. You might have to get an offensive player from the Philadelphia Eagles if you do decide to trade him over there. But if you look at the picks, man, do you honestly think that the Eagles, who were a horrible team, last year, do they bounce back? Do they become a good team under Deshaun Watson? It might be tricky. Washington has gotten better. Dak is coming back. Who knows what's going to happen with the New York Giants? We still know that division is absolutely garbage, but that's something else that you have to keep an eye on. Is It's going to now be a bidding war for Deshaun Watson, and who is going to give up the most? Who is going to break first? This is something that we have to keep an eye on because the Houston Texans, ladies and gentlemen, are not done. Normally teams after the draft focus on OTAs, training camps, and now we have to worry about on what type of picks or on players are we going to get for the guy who we thought was going to be our franchise QB. But let me know what you think in the comments, guys. As always, go Texans. You have a blessed day, and you guys stay high.